Good morning. This is James Campbell, Managing Director of Botswana Diamonds PLC, presenting to the African Mining Summit 2021 virtual edition. My presentation is the corporate presentation of Botswana Diamonds. This is a brand new presentation, and this is the first time I'm going to be delivering it. On the front slide here, you'll see drilling kimberlite in the Kalahari Desert. And you'll see as I go through the presentation, a very, very strong theme around the Kalahari itself. The normal disclaimer, which I'm not going to bore you with. Moving straight on to the summary slide itself. Botswana Diamonds is a leading speculative diamond play in the world today. Now, why is that the case? We have prime Kalahari acreage. The Kalahari is part of the central part of Botswana, which is one of the most predominant diamond areas in the world, both from a production and an exploration perspective. And in that, we have the Gugu joint venture with Vast Resources PLC and the KX36 deposit, which we acquired from Petra Diamonds of last year. In South Africa, we have the Thorny River deposit, which is an advanced kimberlite exploration deposit 3 hours north of Johannesburg. And then from a corporate perspective, the board has over a century, indeed that's a very long time myself, over 35 years of diamond experience, including the discovery and development of the Karowe mine, previously called AK6. And then finally, directors and family and friends control over 40% of the equity of the company. So why diamonds? There has been a rapid V-shaped recovery in diamonds from COVID, and this is not surprising to many people in the diamond industry, as there was a pent-up demand in engagements, weddings, and other celebration of life events. And what's happened following the rapid V-shaped recovery is a steady price increase, so much so that we're up to 30 to 40% on the middle of last year's prices and still growing strongly. If you balance that with the long-term view of diamonds itself, there is dwindling supply of natural diamonds, chiefly because there are not many exploration companies active at the moment, and if you don't explore, you don't find, and growing demand. And with the exception of the Luakshi deposit in Angola, there's been very little recent discoveries aside from Karowe, which I mentioned in the preceding slide. You'll see that in my next bullet, where there are about 50 commercial mines at the moment, and that will shrink to 14 by 2040, and a less than halving in overall diamond production. The US, unsurprisingly, is leading jewelry demand growth, but there are very strong demand coming from India and China as well. And then it would be remiss of me if I was not to mention lab-grown diamonds. And lab-grown diamonds have caused a structural shift in the diamond market itself, particularly in the small and the poorer quality areas. But what you'll notice from Botswana Diamonds projects is we have specifically focused on areas of larger and colored diamonds where the threat of substitution is minimal. So a snapshot of the company itself. What is our mission? Is to deliver capital gains by becoming a diamond producer. And you'll see that as we come through the slide itself. We acquire ground, we refine opportunities, and then we joint venture. Our focus is very much on the Kalahari of Botswana and the Thorny River Marsfontein kimberlite complex in South Africa. So what is a strategy? We have a joint venture with Vast Resources on Gugu mine, which is in the process of being acquired from Gem Diamonds. We have the KX36 advanced project. It's an indicated resource in the central Kalahari, and we have substantial acreage in Sikaka and Sunland joint ventures in Botswana. And then, of course, we've got late stage projects in South Africa, particularly focusing on Thorny River. From a financing perspective, this is very, very important. We minimize dilution by joint ventures and by acquiring projects with early stage cash potential. So if you look at the raft of projects we have everything from a very small minority stake in a project all the way through to 100% ownership. And the team is steeped in mining, not just diamonds like myself, but my chairman, my finance director, and the rest of the board have been involved in Africa, in Zimbabwe, in Botswana, and across the world for decades as such. So let's jump straight into our Botswana projects. As I mentioned at the beginning, our focus is on the Kalahari, which we believe is the last frontier for exploration in Botswana, as you have Arapa and Droneng sitting just outside of the Kalahari itself. These were discoveries made by De Beers in the 60s and are now being very profitably mined by Botswana. So what are the projects? The first one is the Gugu mine, which is in the Kalahari. Botswana Diamonds has a 10% free carry on the first $15 million of expenditure and the right to acquire a further 20% at par. This is an already fully developed and a fully permitted diamond mine where just under 150,000 carats have been recovered and an expenditure of around about $250 million. KX36 is the most recent high-grade diamond discovery in Botswana itself. It was discovered by Petra Diamonds, and Botswana Diamonds acquired KX36 in the middle of last year. We have significant acreage surrounding both KX36 and Gugu on the Sunland licenses, and these are 100% owned by Botswana Diamonds. And we've joint ventured these projects and the database flowing from the Sakaka project with Diamexstrat, which is a private Botswana exploration company, which is in a strategic alliance with the Australian group Burgundy Diamond Mining. And then finally, we have a stake in Maibwe, which is a joint venture on some highly prospective kimberlites in the southwest of the Kalahari. So what is the Kalahari itself? It's a sandy basin covering most of Botswana and extending into the neighboring states. Sand ranges up from a few meters up to 80 meters. And interestingly, there is abundant water sitting at the Kalahari rock interface. The temperatures range from plus 50 degrees in summer to minus 10 degrees in winter, and you have abundant sunshine. So it's an area where solar power really does work well. There are no tar roads in the Kalahari itself. They're all tracks, so logistics is always going to be a bit of a challenge, but this is our home ground. So this is something that we are quite comfortable in. And then interestingly, one of the largest risks in terms of any of our operations is the potential damage caused by elephants seeking water. So moving on to be a bit more specific about some of our projects, the Gugu diamond mine itself. And on this slide, you'll see an aerial photograph of the mine, as well as some of the diamond production at the bottom end. Gugu is probably one of the world's largest and available diamond resources. It's just under 11 hectares in size. It was discovered by Falconbridge, acquired by De Beers, and then acquired by Gem Diamonds. Gem Diamonds have developed a fully permitted diamond mine, which has now been acquired by a joint venture, including Botswana Diamonds and Vast Resources. It has a very large indicated resource of just over 79 million tons at a grade of 19.5 CPHT and $242 per carat. The diamond assortment includes very nice colors, but also, interestingly, high-value orange and blue fancy stones. And I did mention at the beginning of the presentation that Botswana Diamonds' objective is to focus on those areas with well above the average dollar per carat, which is round about 100, and those areas which produce colored stones. BOD is the operator, chiefly because of our deep experience in Botswana, both from an exploration and a mining perspective, and we have marketing rights equivalent to our production. What we're going to focus on in terms of modernizing this operation is looking at replacing the diesel power generation with solar because of the abundant sun, and then modernizing the recovery, probably focusing on Tomro machines over the current machines we have in place as well. Moving on to the KX36 deposit. This is probably the most significant diamond discovery since the Arapa and Jwaneng clusters. It's a smaller kimberlite, about 3.5 hectares. It's only 60 kilometers away from Gugu, so there are significant potential economies of scale and synergies. However, it is a higher graded kimberlite. It has an inferred resource of 6.7 million tons and an indicated resource of just under 18 million tons at a grade of 35 CPHT, but a modeled grade of between 57 and 76 CPHT, and a diamond value of $65 per carat with a modeled upside of $107 per carat. The KX36 deposit itself has an on-site sampling plant. It's a very modern plant with screening, scrubbing, DMS, X-ray recovery equipment. And our main focus now is to do work to optimize the diamond grade and value, i.e. to reduce the range of the diamond grade and value, and then to look at commercial options, very likely in synergy with Gugu itself. Moving on to our exploration acreage in the Kalahari, and this is around Sikaka and Sundan licenses. And our key work program here is a joint venture we have with Diamexstrat and its partner Burgundy Diamond Mines of Australia, where they can earn up to 70% interest in Botswana Diamonds' projects through its prospecting licenses and through its database. One of the other key acquisition from Petra's Sikaka Diamonds of last year, aside from KX36, was probably the second largest exploration database in Botswana. It covers around about 95,000 square kilometers of ground and includes things such as 375,000 line kilometers of geophysics, 506 ground geophysical surveys, 228,000 sampling results, and 32,000 drill logs. So it's a very, very significant package of data, and our partners in Diamexstrat are very far advanced in terms of identifying new target areas with a view to focusing on fresh discoveries, both in the Kalahari and elsewhere. And then moving on to South Africa, and here we're focused very much on the Thorny River area. Where is the Thorny River area? It's about 3 hours north of Johannesburg. It's adjacent to the Marsfontein mine. And for those listeners who are not familiar with Marsfontein was a 0.4 hectare kimberlite, which was mined in joint venture by Southern Era and De Beers, and had a 3.5-day capital payback. Each of the 10-meter benches on that mine was mined in a month, and it was mined out in round about a year and a half. So our focus here is to look for small but very high-grade kimberlite. So it does require a very, very precise approach to exploration. And we have done extensive geophysical work, drilling work, micro diamond work, and macro diamond work, which led to the discovery of the river blow at the end of last year and the river extension blow in April of this year. And we're currently drilling in between the river and river extension to look for continuity between the two kimberlites itself. There are also other anomalies on the Thorny River acreage itself, which is substantial, and we'll be moving on to those once we've better defined the river and river extension anomaly. So in terms of our other exploration activities, and for any exploration company, it's very important to have a balanced portfolio, but with a very specific focus. And I've mentioned the focus, and now this part talks to the diversification, is we hold a 15% interest in the Maibwe joint venture, also in the Kalahari, where there are a number of prospective, highly prospective and diamondiferous kimberlites. We also have a mining permit over the farm Marsfontein, specifically to look at the old Marsfontein dumps and the Marsfontein gravels. And we have a joint venture with a local contractor, and this will recommence once COVID restrictions in South Africa allow. And then finally, Botswana Diamonds' area of focus is Southern Africa. And we would, of course, be looking at Zimbabwe, where there's been very little modern diamond exploration over the past 30 or so years. And as soon as that begins to open up, we will be pursuing licenses in partnership with Vast Resources, where we signed a joint venture over the Marangi diamond fields and an MOU in terms of exploring for primary deposits across Zimbabwe, and then ZCDC and any other party which makes sense for us to work. So the management team which is executing all of this work, we're led by Dr. John Teeling, who's a serial entrepreneur, listed the first company on the AIM market. This is my third company. I've been managing director under John. African Diamonds, which was acquired by Karowe, West Africa Diamonds, which was acquired by Stella, and then Newfield Resources, and then complementing the rest of our team, and also the common board in many of these other companies are Jim Finn, a deeply experienced finance director, David Horgan, who is a lawyer by training and has got great global expertise in the management of operations in remote areas, and Robert Bouquet, who's a diamantaire, independent at the moment, but has held very significant marketing positions in De Beers, Rio Tinto, and Alrosa. So it's got a great view on the overall market itself. So where are we listed? We're listed on the London AIM market with a ticker of BOD, as well as the Botswana Stock Exchange, very similar to African Diamonds, which is the predecessor to Botswana Diamonds, and where the original shareholders made a 25 times return on their investment. The market cap is just under £9 million with a share price of 1.13. And directors and family and associates hold over 40% of the company. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's a snapshot of Botswana Diamonds. We are very active on social media, and on this slide you will see our Twitter handle, our Facebook page, and our LinkedIn page. And then there is a number of videos which you can find on our YouTube channel as well. So this is James Campbell, Managing Director of Botswana Diamonds PLC, presenting to the African Mining Summit, September 2021, virtual edition. Thank you very much indeed.